As I like to say, our heritage tourism, and indeed our tourism, began in 1751 with a visit by George Washington, who became the...
For over 30 years, Professor Henry Fraser, Barbadian parliamentarian and former president of the Barbados National Trust, has been making the case for the island to look to its past to design a tourism sector for the future.
By the 1950s, everyone was travelling for sun, sand and sea. And so the whole perspective of tourism became one of beach tourism. Barbados has now been inscribed with its historic bridge town and its garrison as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. UNESCO branding dramatically increases tourism all over the world. It's what I call a golden gift, so that Barbados has now begun to recognize the importance of what we have.
Barbados has built a successful tourism sector based on sun, sand and sea, coupled with luxury. Its exclusive Sandy Lane Hotel has underpinned the island's reputation as an aspirational destination since the 1960s.
Barbados' economy is led by tourism and international business and financial services, and there has been a little fall off in the demand for our services, and of course as a result of the global economic downturn, there has also been a slowing down of foreign capital inflows.
Others point to shortcomings in domestic policy, leaving the sector more vulnerable to global economic pressures.
There's no doubt that what happened in 2008 had an impact on the US and in the UK and Canada, some of our major tourism markets, in terms of people having a sense of panic about what their disposable income would remain. But quite frankly, other countries have recovered swiftly since then in relation to their tourism product. We have had 17 straight months of decline in tourism. But equally, we're spending more than 25% less on marketing in Barbados.
A study by the World Economic Forum puts the sector at 12.6% of the country's GDP in 2012. Barbados is ranked 27th most competitive out of 140 on its tourism index for 2013.
Our competitiveness strategy going forward is based on enhancing the product, increasing the productivity of all our inputs into the tourism sector, renewing the product offerings that we have, making sure that the quality of service that is offered is commensurate with the price that is the price point at which our services are pitched, adding to the Barbadian experience through sports such as golf, tourism, yachting, rallying. Those are the things that we are focusing on to make for a more competitive, holistic tourism product.
For the country to win market share, it's vital that it offers increasingly price-sensitive holidaymakers a compelling reason to come and to keep coming back.
We've increased the operating costs of the hotels, and we have not taken into account that part of our role should in fact be to mobilize capital to create a national refurbishment and renewal fund for our tourism sector. Barbados has a mature tourism sector. Many of the hotels have been around 40, 50 years, and while there have been some attempts at refurbishment along the way, the truth is that the last major attempt would have been in the mid-90s.
If tourism is going to continue to make such a large contribution to the country's economy, then Barbados may well need to differentiate itself from other beach destinations. Some now argue that a model based on heritage and culture offers a more sustainable future.
Our BTA, Barbados Tourism Association, has now recognized the importance of marketing this angle, and a colleague and I are now working with them in terms of the better marketing of the heritage sides of our tourism. In other words, heritage tourism is no longer just a tiny niche market. It's an integral part of our tourism, just as the pyramids of Egypt and the historic side of Britain. People go to Britain for the history, and 3/4 of British tourists say that they have gone there for the history and the heritage.
Professor Fraser has called on government and industry to completely rethink how Barbados is marketed and branded as a holiday destination.
We're inside the Tyrwell Mansion House, and this is a portrait of Sir Grantley Adams in his later days. He was the first premier.
The 1854 Mansion House Tyrwell is an example of a historical site on which Barbados could build a reputation for its culture.
The house has quite a fine collection of Barbadian antiques. Now,
In 2013, Barbados fell back into recession. It suffered a fall-off in foreign currency reserves, and its deficit is expected to rise to 9.5% this year. Understanding how foreigners want to have fun on the island is an ever more serious business. If tourists who are interested in heritage are willing to spend more than sun seekers, there might be a bright future for the country's history.
This is one of my favourite chattel houses in the village, and it's in the traditional colours.